Hello, I'm Eric, and I'm a paladin. Today I'll be bringing you back into the majestic world of Warcraft with Blizzard's latest expansion, Wrath of the Lich King. So far, this expansion has proven to not only be one of the most anticipated launches in gaming history, but also within the first 24 hours of its release, Lich King took the title of being the fastest selling computer game of all time, outdoing the previous holder, World of Warcraft: The Burning Crusade, by almost $500,000. Although this game was long in the waiting for various reasons, it appeared to live up to its standards by bringing back a multitude of old gamers and those new to the World of Warcraft into the mix. With this expansion came the new land of Northrend, which remained unreachable on the map till the expansion, which is the home of the vengeful Lich King Arthas, who upon seeing the opportune moment sent out his legions to strike at the capitals of both the Horde and Alliance. And in retaliation, both factions have called for their greatest warriors, that including yourself, to head for the ice-covered continent. A whole new story arc opens upon both's arrival upon the starter locations of Vengeance Landing for the Horde and Valgard for the Alliance, although many new camps and bases lay along the southern coast of Northrend. A great threat other than the Burning Legion await them, as that ancient race of Vykrul, half-giant Norse warriors, await them along with the devastating force of the Blue Dragonflight that threatens to corrupt the energies of the world to suit their own gains. Besides the rise of Northrend, other major geographical transfers includes the treacherous Naxxramas being placed in the air above Eastern Dragonblight, and the shielded city of Dalaran, which used to reside by Terran Mill, now finds itself front and center, levitating far above the warped earth in the middle of Northrend, and functions as the new sanctuary, like that of Shatrath City of Outland in the previous expansion, and hosts a multitude of new shops, instances, and is the focal point for the battlegrounds. Among which, perhaps the most massive battleground yet, called Wintergrasp, consists of the Horde and Alliance fighting over the great fortress there, which when controlled allows players from that faction to access yet another of the many new raids added within the expansion. This occurs every 2 hours and 30 minutes, but is well worth the wait as one can rack up some serious honor points and new shards which can be spent at various different merchants for better gear and weapons. But enough about the locations. With Wrath of the Lich King, the maximum level cap has been raised to level 80, along with the introduction of the new hero class called Death Knight. From the moment the expansion launched, many either grinded their way through mission after mission to be the first to achieve level 80, or maxed out their professions, which definitely brought some hardcore players knocking at Blizzard's door, and led a feeding frenzy to see who could take on those glorious in-game achievements. And with new levels comes new armor and weapons, which has either become an exciting adventure or bane for most of the WoW fanbase, as many old school players get to relive the golden days of fighting over upgrades for countless hours, and seeking only those who have solid gear to help them, which I can say without a doubt leave one or two people who aren't quite so die-hard out in the subarctic temperatures of Northrend. Now back to the Death Knight. No matter how awesome this guy might look, he's got a lot of restrictions tagged on him. First of all, being that you need to have one character on your account that's at least level 55, and even then you can only have one. So you gotta make it count when you decide to travel in a Death Knight's cold undead boots. Plus, with the multitude of those Death Knights running around, I was at first discouraged to make one, but once I sat down and found the time, I was definitely pleased with their beginning storyline and use of a sort of layered stage, which you find out soon that you begin inside an instance or dungeon for those not familiar with the game. That as you complete mission after mission, the world will change around you, and as you work for the dreaded Lich King, you will blossom as a full-blown Death Knight with some pure excellence thrown in. Although no matter how badass this set of official Death Knight armor seems to be at the time, as soon as you walk out into the real world, you'll find yourself severely lacking, and you'll quickly find yourself retracing your old footsteps back into Outland to compete over the same weapons and armor your old characters used pre-expansion. So I enjoyed the story, just I found it didn't nearly last as long as I'd liked it to, and came to ask myself why even give people a pre-leveled character if you're just going to have to wait longer to reach the expansion's new content. And soon after, my annoyance with the Death Knights arose yet again, as I saw every kid and their mother creating a Death Knight and trying to challenge every person who they came across, which I found very annoying and left me avoiding them as much as humanly possible. Which may sound easy, but when they can literally yank you across the screen anytime they please, it becomes more of a bother than anything else. But through their flaws, just like any other character, when used right, they can become the most deadly and efficient in the game, which leaves me wondering why Blizzard hasn't tried this before. I mean, it seems a bit anticlimactic to finally create one, and only one, when it should have been something players could have originally done, or at least done a bit better, considering over the past 2 decades there's been more games than I can count which has employed this method. Now down to the nitty-gritty. Even though this game has annoyed the hell out of me, making me want to smash my computer against the wall countless times, it is an amazing game with some breathtaking localities and cinematics that can seem pretty peaceful at times. And the background orchestrated pieces, I gotta say, if you just sit around for a moment and just take in the world instead of worrying about what you have to do next, you'll be a bit awe-shocked at what Blizzard has seemingly pulled off. With this in mind, I would have to give the graphics an 8.5, the music and sound effects get a 9.5, the gameplay a solid 9.0, the story when present an 8.0, and replayability with a defining 10, which leaves the World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King with an overall 9.0. I'm Eric, and I'm a Paladin.